Quick look at the winners and losers of the 2022-2023 budget as read out by CS Yattani in Parliament earlier today. We move on. Kenya's upcoming elections will be sufficiently funded if the recent 3.3 trillion shilling budget numbers are anything to go by. Now, Treasury CS Yattani has walked a tightrope to ensure all key areas of the economy are not overly taxed, as well as he took on a broad approach towards his spending plans. Although the 3.3 trillion shilling budget is equivalent to 23.9% of the gross domestic product, recurrent expenditures will amount to 2.2 trillion shillings, while development expenditure, including allocations to foreign financed projects, contingency fund and conditional transfers to county governments, is 715.5 billion shillings. It is a budget geared towards hopefully improving the welfare of Kenyans and returning an economy battered by the COVID-19 pandemic back on sustainable growth. Brenda Kirubo with that report.
It is a budget read 2 months early because of the general elections scheduled for August 2022. And in order to facilitate the August elections, National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Yattani allocated 22.9 billion shillings in the current financial year, and a further allocation of 21.7 billion in the financial year 2022-2023 to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. This coupled with an allocation of 317.8 billion to support operations of the National Police Service, Defence and the National Intelligence Service. These include 128.4 billion for Defence, 46.1 billion for the National Intelligence Service, 122.2 billion for Police and Prison Service, 10.7 billion for leasing of police motor vehicles, and a billion for police modernization program. Another billion shillings will go into the National Communication and Surveillance System, and 335 million shillings for the equipment of the National Forensic Laboratory. Other spending priorities include infrastructural development with 513.8 billion, enhancing access to quality education with 110.9 billion, supporting manufacturing for job creation with 46.8 billion shillings, enhancing food and nutrition security to all Kenyans, providing universal health coverage to guarantee quality and affordable health care to all Kenyans, and provision of affordable and decent housing for all Kenyans. At the same time, the county governments will receive a proposed allocation of 370 billion shillings as equitable share in the financial year 2022-2023. This represents 27.3% of the most recent audited and approved revenue raised nationally. Informal sector workers will also enjoy a government-backed pension scheme.
Building on the progress realized, we have outlined policies in this budget that are geared towards returning the economy back on a more sustainable growth path for improved livelihoods. In pursuit of this, we have therefore chosen this year's budget theme as accelerating economic recovery for improved livelihoods.
The key winners of the budget include the health sector, which will enjoy exempt from VAT medical oxygen supplied to registered hospitals, urine bags, adult diapers, artificial breasts, and colostomy or ileostomy bags for medical use.
In order to encourage more investment, especially in the manufacture of passenger motor vehicles locally, I propose to exempt from VAT inputs and raw materials used in the manufacture of passenger motor vehicles.
And the losers are the derivatives market, including hedging, futures and options.
The gains accruing from the financial derivatives to non-residents. To ensure equity and fairness, I propose to amend the Income Tax Act to provide for the taxation of gains accruing to the non-residents for the transaction involving financial derivatives in Kenya. Mr. Speaker, last year, the Income Tax Act was amended to replace the previously thin capitation rule for determining taxable income with a method that restricts interest based on a ratio of earning before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. In the amendment, microfinance institutions licensed under the Microfinance Act were omitted in the exclusion list of the application for the new rule. In this regard, I propose to amend the Income Tax Act to exclude microfinance institutions licensed under the Microfinance Act from the interest restrictions based on a ratio of earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization in determination of their taxable income.
Other tax measures include excise duty of 15% on fees charged by all television stations, print media, billboards and radio stations for advertisements of gambling, gaming and alcohol.
In order to prevent these habits and make the liquid nicotine used in these devices less accessible to users, including to school children and the youth, I propose to change the taxation regime for liquid nicotine from current shilling per unit to an excise duty of shilling 70 per milliliter.
As economic activities continue to pick up following the easing of COVID-19 restrictions, as well as targeted stimulus interventions by the government, it is estimated to have grown by 7.6% in 2021, from a contraction of 0.3% in 2020. In 2022, National Treasury expects the economy to stabilize at 6%. Brenda Kirubu, KTN News.
Now, Ukur Yattani's budget today had to factor in a myriad of factors, including a recovery from a global pandemic and a war in Eastern Europe that is negatively affecting the country. Did he manage to get his balance right? KTN's Noah Kipkemboi reports.